Hello, hello, everybody. We are back. Hello, hello. It is good to be back. It has been a minute. Welcome to the show. Jimmy Moreland for you here. Voice actor, audiobook narrator, music producer. Today, we're going to get back into it. We're going to get back into doing voice auditions, some audiobook narration, and we're going to chat. We're going to do some chatting. Now, it's been a minute since I went live, but I thought today would be a good day to go live. It keeps me on task. It keeps me from screwing around too much. So that's what we're going to do. So what we're going to do on this channel here today, we're going to be looking at some audiobook stuff a little bit later. But right now, here's what we're going to be looking at. Let me make it full screen over here and go like this. All right, we're going to be looking at doing real auditions. These are real auditions for real money on the top 2 pay-to-play websites. These are websites that you gotta pay real dollars in order to have access to these auditions. We're gonna be on voices.com, which you see here, and we're gonna be on voice123.com as well. If you have any questions about how these websites work, how this microphone works, anything like that, I'm totally down to answer some questions here. First things first, I've been busy with other stuff, and so I have not been doing voiceover auditions. So we're gonna have some old and crusty, stale auditions that we're gonna be declining. We also have this little alert here that says, "Hey, opt into AI voice casting jobs." I am going to decline that. Join AI voice casting jobs for exciting and ethical opportunities that offer both clear usage terms and fair pay. I bet they do. I bet they don't. So we're gonna decline that. I don't want to see this crap. Let's jump into these invites. So between Voices and Voice123, these websites, broadly speaking, offer the same service. They offer me as talent the opportunity to audition for voiceover jobs, and but the experience is quite different, and you have to have different strategies for both. Generally speaking, if you're looking at doing one or the other, I recommend picking one or the other. You shouldn't jump into doing both. And if you're going to do one or the other, man, I don't know. I think maybe Voices might be the best place to start because it's more forgiving algorithm-wise. Voice123, you need to have a bigger long-term plan and be super, super disciplined because they'll kick your ass with their algorithm, 100%. So let's jump into it. First of all, something I like to do, so Voices, we're starting with Voices because Voices is time sensitive. When an audition gets posted, you have minutes before dozens and dozens and dozens of other voice actors have gotten their auditions in. And the quicker you get your audition in, the higher up you're shown there to the client here. So let's look at this first one here. 60-second football playoff hype video. I'm going to skip this one because pay is a little bit low, $100 to $250 budget, and it's sports. I generally just don't get hired for sports. We'll take a look at it, though. Let's see here. We've got a reference. We love seeing a reference. Let's, I want to bring up a Firefox window so that I can actually see the reference here. So we're going to bring it over here, and I'm going to turn on the loop back here so you can hear it. A lot of space.
Armies form for kings. Tigers hunting. Bears charging.
Okay. Really, really slow, really, really toned down kind of vibe there. It actually did a download there? That's stupid. Okay. Winnipeg's team. Da-da-da. Soft sounds of the city waking up. Coffee brewing, bus pulling away. Boots on a frozen sidewalk. The city wakes up differently on game day. Home or away. You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Please go like that. So that way you can see what's going on here. So here we go. You should be able to hear this. Hopefully it's not too bad of a delay or an echo, but otherwise you won't be able to hear the punch and roll style that I do here. So, excuse me there. All right, here we go. This city wakes up differently on game day, home or away. People move a little quicker. There's a hum that runs through every street, every classroom, every home. Game day isn't just about football. It's about the people who have stood behind this. Let's go here. Every classroom, every home. Game day isn't just about football. It's about the people who have stood behind this team for generations. They've cheered on hot summer days and through cold autumn evenings, through the glory and the heartbreak. These players don't just play for the name on their back. They play for the people who built this team, the ones who fill the seats game after game, year after year. Years change, rosters shift, and yet every week when the first whistle goes, the people in this city show up. That's probably not quite. Don't want to give them the whole thing here. Let's keep going. I have now, are these... This seems like they're doing like cutaways to like little interview snippets, and it's not voiceover, but we'll do it as though it is anyway. This city show up. This is more than a team. It's a tradition, a heartbeat, a promise kept between players and fans. This is Winnipeg's team. The story continues. We're not going to worry too much about going overtime. Generally with voiceover, commercial voiceover auditions, 50 to 60 seconds is the maximum you want to give. And yeah, here we went over to like a minute 10. And some people get really precious and cagey, a minute 6. Precious and cagey about, oh, you don't want to read the entire script because they're just going to steal it. You've given them everything, so they're just going to steal it. Like, I'm not going to worry about the, like, hold on, let me bounce this out here. We're going to call this Winnipeg's team. Winnipeg's team. And we're going into there, add MB3, good to go. I don't get too precious about it. You know, the 1 out of 100 jobs where I do get stolen from, like, I'm going to book more jobs if it's right on the line. If I give them a little bit more, I'm more likely to book, and I think it's going to more than wash out. I think it's going to work in my favor in the long run if I just go ahead and deliver the full thing here. So let's go general, boom, boom, boom. And then here, we're going to quote them at that. Big important thing on voices.com. Look here. You're quoting. They've given you a budget range. This is my standard quote for things in this range. You got to remember that what you'll actually be paid if they accept this quote of 190, you're going to be paid 80% of that number. Whatever number goes here, you get paid 80% of that number if you book the job. So just something to keep in mind before you start getting dollar signs in your eyes. Only get 80% of a dollar sign in your eyes. Okay? I'm not going to listen back to it. I don't care. I'm good at my job. I know that that edit's going to sound good here. Honor X9D. Probably not going to do this because there are already 41 people in line ahead of us. But let's take a look here. We got, it's really short. Deliver a smart, captivating voice that feels confident and approachable. What do we got here? Stay powered with the 8300 mega amp hour. That's not even MAH mega amp hour, milliamp hour battery, and enjoy supercharged Yellow Friday offers. Yellow Friday is it's China, right? Right? I'm just curious now. Is that, what is Yellow Friday? Da-da-da-da. Oh, it's specific to this company, right? Potentially. Yeah. It's specific to this company. Okay. Interesting. I didn't know that one. We're going to pass on this one. Archive. The Mr. Pill Show. So three reasons I'm not going to do this. Number one, really low budget. $100 flat fixed. It's not the range. It's like, here is the dollar amount. And again, multiply that by 80%. I'm only going to be getting $80 if I do this job. It is a really short, just a tag. It's like a one line. Today's topic, which supplement really helps with dry eye? Hydro Eye, the clear winner. Like, sure, whatever. But also consider there are 56 people in line ahead of me for this $80 payday. And here's the other thing. I'm only an 80% voice match on this. And that'll be because of the category and some of these details that they plugged in here. TV host. Is this going on television? Sounds like a podcast. And even if it is a video, it's not going to go on television. It's silly. I guess for the setting, like whatever. That's not the real problem. The real problem is right here. Category, animation. I don't care if this product is animated. This is not animation category. For animation category, you should be thinking Disney, Adult Swim, Pixar. Those are animation. Anime, that's animation. This video, while animated, is an advertisement. It's potentially a podcast. It is not animation category. So this is miscategorized, which is part of why I've got a lower voice match, because I know myself. I'm not really, generally speaking, outside of a few niche categories, I'm probably not your animation guy. I know what I'm good at. I'm good at commercial. I'm good at audiobooks. Animation really isn't my thing yet. Maybe someday. So I don't have an animation demo. And because of that, my voice match for anything animation is going to be less than 100%. It should be 90%, I think, should be my ceiling. But because of this TV host role thing, none of my demos are tagged with TV host. So I think that further dinged me by another 10% there. You got to learn how these algorithms work. If you're not getting a consistent 100% voice match on most of the jobs you are seeing, you need to figure out why, and you need to fix it. Otherwise, you will not succeed on voices.com. We're going to archive this job. So let's look at all these other ones here. 100%, 90, 90, 90, 90, a lot of 90s. We need to diagnose what's going on with these. It's also something that you can't just set and forget forever. Voices.com is a living website. They make changes from time to time. So sometimes this is a new category right here, actually. Internal video. That is in my wheelhouse. I need to recut something or make something new so that for these internal video things, I'm showing up as a 100% voice match. That's on me. It's something I need to do. Be able to pronounce a few words in Spanish. Sí, yo puedo. Let's go ahead and look at this. Live directed session required. How many words? What kind of words are we talking about? And do you really want a gringo actor for this? Do you want a Latino actor? This country was built on dreams, but dreams don't build themselves. It takes hands, sweat, ganas. For generations, the schools your niños learn it. This isn't for me. Like, I can say, somos fuerza, somos futuro. Like, I can say all these things, but it's not for me to say. There are some situations where having me, a white, do scripts that have some Spanish in them, totally appropriate and fine. Here is a situation where I'm going to practice a little bit of cultural self-awareness and go, like, I'm not the right talent for this job. Even though I do speak a pretty good amount of Spanish. I grew up in Texas. I minored in Spanish in university. But this ain't for me. It's not for me. So we're going to archive that. How many of these are going to be internal video, I wonder? Video games category. I don't have a demo for video games. Even though I've done a fair amount of video game work. Let's see here. Sergey. What kind of accent does Sergey have? We're going to pass on this one. Does seem like a cool job. This one here, 80 responses ahead of us in line. That'll be big reason for that is the budget. It's got a decent budget. Online ad. This one's a managed posting. As a small business owner, you have big ambitions and a long to-do list. You know what? We're going to do this just for fun. 80 responses ahead of us in line. It's extremely unlikely we'll even be heard. But for the sake of the stream, for the sake of flexing this muscle a little bit, not letting it atrophy, we're going to go ahead and do this here. As a small business owner, you have big ambitions and a long to-do list. You may have wondered at times. Let's redo that. As a small business owner, you have big ambitions and a long to-do list. You may have wondered at times if you have what it takes. Well, you have a lot. Expertise, a plan, vision. And now, for easy, secure payments, you have the Chase point-of-sale register. It's easy for employees to use. It's easy to customize, too. Add accessories to fit your needs. Let's do this here. Have the Chase point-of-sale register. It's easy for employees to use. It's easy to customize, too. Add accessories to fit your needs. Not my greatest read ever, but for the purposes of all this, we're gonna excuse me. And given for anyone listening closely, I'm a little bit under the weather here. It's not something that I would say is preventing me from working and potentially booking, but I think my booking rate's going to be a little bit lower than normal because, I'm feeling it here. Chase, point of sale. Reply to job. I didn't even turn the D-click on, but you know what? That's okay. Job budget is $17.50. We're going to quote it at $17.50. There goes that. You'll notice, I'm yapping, but you'll notice that I'm not spending a ton of time on each individual audition once I commit to doing it. As fast as I'm moving, once I commit to doing one, that's how fast you need to be. So let's see here. Car campaign, $5,500. 95 responses ahead of us in line. I would normally just totally skip this because that's so many responses ahead of us. However, we're here. We're on the stream. We might do this. There's no reference link. There's no we need to audition both scripts in the sample below. Whatever. Let's just do it. This is the totally redesigned This is the totally redesigned 9th Gen Sentra, bringing bold style and unmistakable presence. Nissan's design team delivered. Okay. Style and unmistakable presence. Nissan's design team delivered swept-back signature LEDs with blacked-out accents, low, muscular, sharp side sills, and a sporty rear diffuser, wraparound taillights, and an aerodynamic spoiler. Oh. What? Oh. Okay. God, the grammar on this is so strange. Nissan's design team delivered. Period. Swept-back signature LEDs with blacked-out accents, low, muscular, sharp side sills, and a sporty rear diffuser, wraparound taillights, and an aerodynamic spoiler combined to define a look that's pure Sentra. All of this, that's the list of things that combine. There's the verb. Here's the subject of the sentence. Here's the verb to define a look that's pure. This is a sentence fragment. Well, no, it's a full sentence, but that it's just the formatting is terrible, just terrible. Let's start from scratch here. This is the totally redesigned 9th Gen Sentra, bringing bold style and unmistakable presence. Nissan's design team delivered. Sweatback signature LEDs with blacked out accents, low muscular sharp side sills, and a sporty rear diffuser, wraparound taillights, and an aerodynamic spoiler combine to define a look that's pure Sentra. Okay. Next one. We're going to read it cold. Nissan tested, Nissan approved. Sentra accessories bring more durability and confidence to every mile. Spill it, stomp it, drop it. All season, high floor. Okay, yeah. Okay. Let's go back to here. Sentra. All right. Nissan tested, Nissan tested, Nissan approved. Sentra accessories bring more durability and confidence to every mile. Spill it, stomp it, drop it. All-season high-wall floor mats are molded to fit Sentra and ready to help to fit Sentra? Man, this is bad. Spill it. And confidence to every mile. Spill it, stomp it, drop it. All-season high-wall floor mats are molded to fit Sentra. Yikes. Spill it, stomp it, drop it. All-season high-wall floor mats are molded to fit Sentra and ready to help keep your carpet like new. Running late? Bring it on. This custom-fit scuff... Damn it. Running late? Bring it on. This custom-fit scuff protection helps keep your doors looking new. All right. See, look at this. They've repeated this line here. This is what we have to deal with. Can you imagine spending $5,500 on talent and you just can't, do a cursory, a double check of your copy? I know it's super, bad form to, badmouth the way that I am, but, sorry, I'm just trying to be, a little bit real here for any potential audience that might stumble across this stuff. This is how it is. You see badly formatted, badly written copy, that's just how it is, man. Some people get to be bad at their jobs. And it's fine, I guess. Must be nice. We're just going to call it Sentra. Anyone out there who has one of those jobs where you're allowed to be bad at it, send me a message. Tell me what that's like. Just wild. Checking in. All right. What else do we have here? Narration for documentary, YouTube, something or other. 75 responses ahead of us in line. These are all things that came in yesterday. It is the weekend. Things are going to be a little bit thin. This one only has 18 because it's super low pay. $45. 34 people were like, yeah, get me in on that $45. But really $39. It looks like we're going to archive everything else that's here. All of these jobs are just too old, too crusty. Over 100 responses on this one. So that's just how it is. But now that our feed is cleared, if anything does happen to come in while we're sitting here, I've got a little widget that checks my email. constantly. I'll get a little buzz, a little notification. Highly recommend if you're doing this, have some kind of email notification set up so that if you do get a job come in from voices.com, that you can stop what you're doing, Alt tab over to it, check out that audition. Now let's head over to Voice 123. Voice 123 jobs are a little bit less time sensitive because of the way jobs are released. They're released in tranches, in buckets, and it's all based on what is your position in the algorithm and how much are you paying. I am a top 10 voice, top 10 talent. So I'm in the top bucket of talent. I don't know if they make it. I don't know if there's a top 5 or a top 1. I'm in the top 10 though. But then I'm also in the top payment tier that's non-invitation only. There's one tier above where I am that is invitation only. It's super, super expensive. And like the like wait list, if you will, like there's only a limited number as well of these invitations, these spots, and basically people hold on to them until they retire or die. It's seriously like 50 to 100 talent in the world that have the top tier of membership on Voice 123, and people don't give it up. Once they got it, they pay that huge annual fee and they just deal with it because it gives them such an advantage in booking. So it pays for itself. And those people they're incredible. These are like the top cream of the crop pros. But I do fine being at the top of the algorithmic part of it and being at the top of the public payment schedule. So the jobs that I do see, I tend to see it before everybody else. If you join tomorrow, you're not going to see jobs that I see. Certainly not as fast as I see them, if you do see them at all. So let's take a look here. Library of Parliament English. This sounds like a thing that might be a Canadian neutral. That's what I thought. I didn't think it was going to be an American accent. Canadian neutral, though. Let's see here. This is crazy. Avoid announcer tone. Absolutely. That's the modern read. Avoid lecturer style. Okay, kind of the same thing. Avoid overly casual or conversational. So you're wanting to like thread this needle of like not too announcer, not too conversational. Like, okay, dude. But let's look at these. I bet you, let's just copy this. I bet you, let's take a look. I'll bring it up here. Come on.
Canada is a parliamentary democracy where citizens have the right to be involved in how their country is governed.
Okay, that's your reference. All right. We're going to go ahead and read this. Why not? High above the Ottawa River stands one of Parliament's most distinctive landmarks, its library. Known for its neo-Gothic design, the library is more than an architectural icon. It is also a cornerstone of parliamentary history, a testament to where our Parliament began and how it has evolved through time. The library's story began in a time of uncertainty in the mid-19th century. The province of Canada had no permanent capital, and its We're going to fix this so that I don't forget to do so. And then we're here. In the mid-19th century. The province of Canada had no permanent capital, and its legislative assembly moved from city to city, bringing along all in the mid-19th century. The province of Canada had no permanent capital, and its legislative assembly moved from city to city, bringing along its small library. The moves were not always peaceful. Fires in Montreal and Quebec City decimated the library's collection, but not its purpose. Does it want the same talent to read the French? I actually might be screwed here. It seems like they want the same person to read both, and so you need a Québécois. Yeah, I actually think we're going to not do this one, even though I just basically did the whole thing. Delete. Yeah, I should have looked. I should have known that for something like legal or governmental, that it would be bilingual, and I'm not even going to try. I'm not going to try to read that. No, thank you. Doesn't say anything here about French, so that's a bummer. Okay. So we're going to decline that. Oh, let's go here. This will be good to do. Very important that when you're on Voice 123, a couple of things to consider. Jobs that I automatically disqualify. Now, these are for me. If you want to have your own approach, more than welcome to. But there are a few things that absolutely just insta disqualify jobs for me. So we're going to start at the bottom here. TTS, that means text to speech. Yeah, you should be able to see that. Text to speech. This is AI. This is someone trying to steal your voice. That's a no. Get rid of that. Anytime these two numbers here, let me zoom in just, please. Zoom in just a little bit here. There are two numbers here for the number of proposals. The first number is the amount of proposals or auditions they have already received from talent like me. The second number is how many they want to hear. I don't know if that number is a hard limit, and if they want to listen to anything over that limit, maybe they have to pay more to Voice 123. I'm not sure how it works. I just know that for the sake of valuing my own time, I'm going to trust them that they're going to stick to that number. This person said, hey, I want to hear 40 proposals. I trust that they're going to stop at 40. Regardless of what happens on the back end, I'm just going to trust that. So if this first number is bigger than the second number, I'm going to clear it out. I'm not going to waste my time. So we're going to clear out this one. 31 is over 25. This one's over that, but we're going to wait on that because there's something to chat about there. 53 over 50. We're actually going to go ahead and clear this one out because we've got another thing to talk about there. This one's really close. 24 out of 25. It would be a real damn shame if I did this job. Well, maybe we'll do it. It'd be a shame if I was like, cool, I can like slide in. I can be number 25 out of 25. And someone else out there had the same idea and they got theirs in 20 seconds before I did. That'd be a real damn shame. However, we're going to look at this because, AI usage. Never mind. Get out of here. 46 out of 40. Get out of here. 50 out of 50. All right, so all of these in theory are worth looking at on this page anyway. Let's go ahead and look at the second page though and clear out anything we can here. 56 out of 50, 20 out of 25. This has 3 auditions in on it. Like the price is super low, but maybe there's other reasons. Over, and over. Okay. Cool. So let's really quickly, again, ways that I can save myself time by eliminating jobs without even clicking into them. The most common one is right here. All these other jobs, let me zoom in again, they've got a budget. What you really love to see is fixed. They're saying, hey, this is the number. Take it or leave it. That's what I want to see. That means this client, like, there's no negotiating, there's no wishy-washy, there's no like race to the bottom. It's just, this is the budget, do it or don't. With this up to stuff, which I think is pretty new for Voice 123, they didn't always have that, I don't think. This up to stuff, that does seem to invite like, maybe you can undercut, maybe you can race to the bottom. So I'm really hesitant about the up to stuff. Voices allows you to state a bucket. So on voices.com, you'll either see a range. So for example, $100 to $250 is a common bucket that you'll see. Voice 123 is like, hey, just give us a number, is what they seem to encourage people. But they do allow people to say, I'm looking for a quote. I don't know what my budget is, or maybe I do, but I'm just not going to tell you. And the thing is, the way that the algorithm works on Voice 123, you get penalized if a client listens to your audition and then does not hire or at least favorite your audition. If you are listened to, but one of those two actions are not taken, you get actively penalized in the algorithm. If that happens 100 times in a row, you're going to find yourself in the bottom 10% of talent on Voice 123, and then suddenly, like, you're never going to see the jobs. When you do see them, it's only going to be crap jobs that you see. It's a brutal and miserable place to be. So, imagine that I go, oh, like, look at this job. It looks great. Video narration, specialty excavation. That's my specialty. And oh my God, I speak Portuguese and I'm from Portugal. I'm the perfect talent for this and I'm so good. Wow, what an amazing thing. And oh, but they just say they're looking for a quote. Well, okay, well, I know that in Portugal the market rate is this. So I'm going to quote so and so many euros. I'm going to quote 500 euros for this. And maybe this client was expecting to pay 40 euros for talent. So they listen to your audition, they go, wow, this is the perfect voice. It's amazing. This is a slam dunk. But 500 euros? I'm not paying that. It's way outside of our budget. So not only do you not get hired because it's outside of the budget, but you're so far outside of their budget that they're not even going to favorite you because you're not even in the running because you're so far outside of budget. The point of that story is that they have a budget. They know what their number is. They're just trying to encourage people to race to the bottom by not telling you. So they're screwing themselves and they're screwing talent. This is the worst single feature aspect of Voice 123, bar none. If they got rid of this one single thing, I would probably cancel my voices.com subscription. But this thing is such a frustration that I kind of have to keep throwing money to their competitor. This is so bad, so dumb, so counter to the way the website works. Because it requires you to not just be a good voice talent, it requires you to be a mind reader. It's stupid, it's bad, it's frustrating. I really hate it. I should start flagging every single one. Say, like, I'm not a mind reader. Looking for a quote. Oh, okay. Take that shit to Fiverr. Like, so frustrating. All right. Rant over. Never do looking for a quote. That's my philosophy anyway. Okay. Next up. We don't have anyone that's looking for no custom audition. You can see this next to where the quote is. You see custom audition. It's like, well, if every single one of these says custom audition, then if it's on everyone, then it means nothing. Well, sometimes if you don't see that, it's because the client is open to just receiving demos. And that is super stupid. That to me is an instant indication that this client has no idea what they're doing. They're inexperienced. They're going to be a nightmare to work for because they're so inexperienced. They don't know what expectations are. Because if you're okay with just receiving a demo, then you're okay with being scammed. You're okay with being bamboozled by talent who can't actually deliver what is in their audition. So it just indicates instantly that you are very, very inexperienced. But we don't have anything of these here. So, great. Rant over. Let's move on here. SAG-AFTRA only is this first one. I am not SAG-AFTRA. So, we're not even going to open this and look at it. Although, it'd be useful just to see the kind of things that you see that are SAG. And here's what you will see. Anything SAG-AFTRA is typically going to be just a better vetted project. The scripts are going to be better. The details that are included are going to be more fleshed out, more thoughtful. They've done their work. They're going through SAG-AFTRA. they're jumping through hoops, and so they want to make sure that the juice is worth the squeeze. So love seeing these jobs come in, but currently I am not SAG-AFTRA talent here. Sometimes you'll say like SAG eligible or something like that. And those things get into little weird little, not gray areas, but special situations. But that's not it for us here. BSN Sports. It's rare that I get hired for sports stuff. And again, on Voice 123 with the algorithm, you got to be really, really careful. Because there's that thing where if a client listens to you but doesn't hire or favorite you, you get penalized. You want to make sure that if you are auditioning for something, you feel confident that you are the right voice for that job. So if I open something up and it's like, oh, we're looking for like someone with a young adult voice character, obviously that's not me. That's not how my voice sounds. So I'm not going to audition for that because ain't no way I'm getting hired for that. Now, sports, think energetic, positive, even motivational. Not crazy over the top, but they are hyping up the coaches and team owners. Interesting. So this is like more of a B2B. They're trying to sell uniforms to the teams, not to individual fans, but to the teams. So this is more of a B2B type thing. So BSN Sports offers premium custom uniforms, lightning fast direct-to-player shipping, and easy online ordering. This might be good for us, actually. If it was something for fans, if it was a, God, what are those big sticker things? Fathead? Some kind of like actual sports merch for like the end consumer, then I wouldn't do that. That's not my voice. But for something that's more of a B2B, how many people are in so far? 36 out of 50. Payday is $750. This is not bad. I think I might do this here. So let's do it. You'll notice that I'm not like pre-reading the full copy, the full script. I like to read things cold because you only get one chance to do it cold, and sometimes you can surprise yourself and magic will happen. So let's go for it. Are we? Yeah, we're good. Okay. BSN Sports offers premium custom uniforms, lightning fast direct. BSN Sports offers premium custom uniforms, lightning fast direct to player shipping, and easy online ordering. With BSN Sports Club Direct, the only thing that's going to look better. BSN. With BSN Sports Club Direct, the only thing that's going to look better than your team is you. With BSN Sports Club Direct, the only thing that's going to look better than your team is you. BSN Sports. Unlock greatness. BSN Sports. Unlock greatness. Stepping up is hard, but suiting up? That's easy. Your players can't play their best. Looking like this. From easy online ordering to lightning quick delivery, make sure your team has what it takes to win. With BSN Sports, everyone can perform their best. Even you. Say goodbye to taping new numbers on uniforms. From easy online ordering to lightning quick delivery, make sure your team has what it takes to win and what you need to be the best owner you can be. It's fine. Actually teaching the fundamentals instead of learning the logistics. Actually teaching the fundamentals instead of learning the logistics of, come on. Actually teaching the fundamentals instead of actually teaching the fundamentals instead of learning the logistics of uniform ordering? Get that woman a trophy. Get that woman a trophy. From easy online ordering to lightning quick delivery, everybody can perform their best with BSN Sports. Even you. That even you is kind of strange. What's the context for that? Okay. Obviously, I didn't do punch and roll recording for that, so it's going to be a little bit of a mess to edit. So Let's deal with it.
BSN Sports offers premium custom uniforms, lightning fast direct to player with BN.
I feel like this took a million tries to get. I think we're here. Maybe here, right?
Online ordering. With BSN Sports Club Direct, the only thing that's going to look better than your team is you. BSN Sports. Unlock greatness. BSN Sports. Stepping up is hard, but suiting up? That's easy. Your players can't play their
Cool.
best looking like this. From easy online ordering to lightning quick delivery, make sure your team has what it takes to win. With BSN Best, even you.
Cool.
Say goodbye to taping new
Ugh.
online ordering to perform their best, even you. Say goodbye to taping new numbers on uniform. Online ordering to lightning quick delivery, make sure and what you need to be the best owner you can be. And what you need to be the best owner you can be. And what you
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
Sticks. Actually teaching the fundamentals instead of sticks of uniform ordering. Get that woman from easy online ordering to lightning quick delivery. Everybody can. Logistics of uniform ordering. Get that woman a trophy. From easy online ordering to lightning quick delivery, everybody can perform their best with BSN Sports. Even you.
All right. Comes out to just over a minute, which is fine. We're going to call this BSN Sports. Sure. There we go. Accept invite. Drop the audio. All of that looks good to me. Cool. And there we go. All right. Top 10% of voice actors, baby. That's me. All right. Tripping Over Grace intro. $50 budget. Almost certainly not going to do it, but we're going to look at this. General things that you do and don't like to see on auditions. For me, something I hate seeing is when it says, hey, like these are voice actor requirements. Language, English, USA, and Canada. Most common thing to see. North American general, sure. Voice, gender, and age. Male young adult, female young adult, female adult. I get that some clients might think like, oh, we're being like inclusive and everything. Yeah, that's great. But it also indicates that you're wishy-washy and you don't know what the hell you want. Like, you should know if you like what kind of talent you want. You should have a picture in your head. So this sounds like a podcast intro. Life's a beautiful mess, from trials in faith, marriage, parenting, and all the random moments that make us laugh, learn, and grow, and live and laugh and love. We don't have it all figured out, but every time we trip during the race, grace helps us to keep running it. This is Tripping Over Grace with Trey and Jess, where real life meets real faith, with a few laughs along the way. So we get it. It's just straight up a podcast intro. But they've got to... They know what they want. Like, pick one. Pick a category. Obviously, that's not for us. Not for $50 anyway. NCEL Monopoly Radio. What does this mean? The Mater D in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I'm trying to remember that scene. What is this? So this is Monopoly money. Like, what's the... All right, we got to look up this scene that they're referencing here. YouTube's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. restaurant scene. I'm gonna mute my computer playback for this because I don't want to get the stream muted. So very sorry. Listening. I'll unmute it just for a second.
I'm suggesting that you leave before I have to get snooty.
Nah. Okay. Yeah, we get it. Sir, this is Monopoly money. I'm calling the cops. Okay. Yeah, we can do this. But specifically, are you hiring for the waiter? Please read for waiter only. Love it when they give us all the details we need. All right, cool. Go for it. Sir, this is Monopoly money. Sir, this is Monopoly money. I'm calling the cops. Sir, this... see. Sir, this is Monopoly money. I'm calling the cops. That'll be take one. Sir, this is Monopoly money. I'm calling the cops. Almost a little Tim Curry. Yes. Okay, so I think we're gonna go here. And I think this is the full take, right? Monopoly money. Sir, this is Monopoly money. I'm calling the cops. Monopoly money. I'm calling the cops. Sir, this is Monopoly money. I'm calling the cops. We're going to switch these two around. So I am delivering to them 2 takes. This is something that I will do for extremely short bits of copy. Bounce this out. We're going to call this NCL Monopoly Radio Waiter. Yeah, if it's super short and you've got 2 different takes in you, give 2 takes. I've given you 2 takes. They should be able to figure that out, but sometimes you gotta point stuff out. Here we go. Okay. And are they casting all of them? Okay, they're casting the man. Classic rich guy. He's casual, articulate, well-spoken, but slightly condescending, and has a chuckle that says, "I'm not worried, I've got money." He's young, around mid-30s, but has the earned and entitled confidence of an older man. Reference Christopher McDonald as Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore. Ted Knight as Judge Smales from Caddyshack. Well, we're waiting. All right. So, okay. Sure. I mean, we read for the other. Let's read for this one, too. Excuse me, garçon. I'll pick up the tab for the lady and I. Yes, and there's more where that came from. Excuse me, garçon. I'll pick up the tab for the lady and I.
Yes, and there... Yes, and there's more... Yes? Yes, and there's more where that came from. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. I have a get-out-of-jail-free card.
So, okay.
Excuse me, garçon. I'll pick up the tab for the lady and I. Don't waste... Yes, and there... Yes, and there's more... Yes, for the lady and I. Yes, and there's more where that came from.
Here.
And there's more where that came from. Don't waste your time.
Here.
Don't waste your time. I have a get-out-of-jail-free card. Get-out-of-jail-free card. Excuse me, garçon. I'll pick up the tab for the lady and I. Yes, and there's... Yes, and there's more where that came from.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Get-out-of-jail-free card. Excuse me, garçon. I'll pick up the tab for the lady and I. Yes. Yes, and there's more where that came from. Yes, and there's more where that came from. Yes, and there's more. Yes. Yes, and there... Yes, and there's more where that came from. Yes, and there's more where that came from. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. I have a get-out-of-jail...
I'm not feeling great about this script here. This is a spot where I'm not going to submit for this. I feel like I'm not reading this in a way that makes me super happy. Like the script is just a little bit, the way that it's written. Kind of split between, the inclination is to do it more naturalistic, conversational. But when you're given super fantastical, unrealistic dialogue, it's really hard to thread that needle. And I just don't feel super confident about it to the extent that I want to risk my position in the algorithm on it. So we're going to skip that one, actually. Constant refrain that I have is voice talent, know thyself. Know when you're nailing something, know when you're not, and just have the humility and self-awareness to know when it's time to cut bait. I don't even know if I'm using that phrase right. 40s, approachable, encouraged to donate to nonprofit thing. It looks like it's Texas-based, maybe. 29 out of 50. What's the pay? 300, maybe. Let's take a look at it. Hello. Idea Ranch. Textron. Sedgwick County. 40% of it fall below the Alice threshold. Wichita. So it is Texas. Okay. In Sedgwick County, 40% of households fall below the Alice threshold. This means they earn more than the federal poverty level, but This means they earn more than the federal poverty level, but still cannot afford basic household essentials like housing, food, childcare, healthcare, and transportation. The challenges are great, but the commitment in this room is greater. So this is a live event. This seems like it's a live event, so I'm not trying to hit a time necessarily. Interesting. Okay. That makes me want to start again here. In Sedgwick County, 40% of households fall below the Alice. My God. In Sedgwick County, 40% of households fall below the Alice threshold. This means they earn more than the federal poverty level, but still cannot afford basic household essentials like housing, food,
childcare, healthcare, and transportation. The challenges are great, but the commitment in this room is greater. Our goal is to transform the lives of 300 Wichita youth and their families. Our goal is to transform the lives of 300 Wichita youth and their families. Take that second line there. Boom. And then boom. That should be right. Right? Transportation. The challenges are great, but the commitment in this room is greater. Our goal. Cool. Okay. Turn on the D-click. Bounce. We're going to use their job code 24616. Accept. Here, Textron. And submit. There we go. Next. All right. Projects, 15-second holiday ad. Classic Christmas Story VO. It's the most wonderful time, it is true, for cybercrime to come after you. But do not fear phishing, stolen passwords, or a hack. The YubiKey has your back. Sure, let's do it. Oh, God. It's the most wonderful time, it is true, for cybercrime to come after you. But do not fear phishing, stolen passwords, or a hack. The YubiKey has your back. Lock down your logins on every device and secure the apps that make your life nice. Cool. Maybe we'll give them 2 takes of this, you know? That make your life nice. It's the most wonderful time, it is true, for cybercrime to come after you. But do not fear phishing, stolen passwords, or a hack. The YubiKey has your back. Lock down your logins on every device and secure the apps that make your life nice. Sure. Give them that. Boom. Now I can say I gave them 2 takes. Very different takes. Very important. We're going to call this YubiKey, I guess. YubiKey Xmas. Accept. Here we go. I've given you 2 takes. Sure. Boom. Let's clear up these. Duplicate you. There we go. And close you down. Here we go. Okay, back to projects here. Days of Techmas. Fisher's 12 Days of Techmas, where customers can enter to win sweet techie prizes this holiday season. How many people do we have here? Big news, Fisher's Tech has officially teamed up with Santa's Elves, and we're flipping the switch to holiday mode. From November 24th through December 10th, we're running our 12 Days of Techmas raffle. 12 days, 12 awesome prizes, and 12 chances to shout, Tech, yeah! What are we looking at as far as 13 out of 30? What's the payment? $100. Sorry. Nope. Not risking my place in the algorithm for $100. Theseus for a week. What does this mean? Proof of concept for video for an animated TV series. So what is this? Is this for a character? Am I Nicholas? Who am I?
Wait, who are we reading for? They just want you to pick one? God. Nope. Animated short film 0. See, yeah, this demonstrates like this issue here. They've given us the character specs for every character in this animated short. Who are like, do you want people to pick one and read for one? Like it's a little obnoxious when you see it in your feed. Like in this case, we've got characters Hera, Zeus, Aegis, Veronica, and Nicholas. Like, that's 5 different characters. Like, they need to post 5 different jobs. Posting one job for all 5 and being like, hey, like, we're just going to cast a super wide net and hope that people, like, happen to audition for all of them. Like, no. That's dumb. That's bad. That's just bad business, man. Let's see here. Yeah, this one's not for us. We're going to pass on that. So that is Voices.com and Voice123, our feeds cleared out. Now, I am recording on a Saturday night, right? It is Saturday night, baby! So, naturally, not a lot of new jobs are going to be coming in right now. You do start to get jobs pouring in Sunday night from Europe and Asia. But obviously, not a lot of people out there are posting jobs on a Saturday night. But I just thought it'd be fun to go live, clear out the queue from the days past that I'd missed because I've been a lazy boy, been doing other projects. But now we're going to do another fun thing and look at some potential auditions. Maybe we'll do one, probably not, because I am completely stocked up with audiobook work. But we're going to look at the these are my projects. Show me auditions. Thank you. ACX, the Audiobook Creation Exchange. This is your first stop. If you are trying to become an audiobook narrator, this is where you go first. This is where you're going to come looking for jobs, my friends. ACX. This is where I got started. When I got into the broad business of audiobook narration and voiceover, audiobook narration was my first, my way in. And ACX is where I started. I struggled and struggled and struggled. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. 50 auditions. My 51st audition, I got my first job. But I submitted 50 auditions where I either didn't hear anything back or I got a no. You know, sometimes you'll get a polite no, but usually you're just going to hear nothing. Let's refresh again here. So right now, why do I have 3? Okay. I've got everything selected. So right now, it has remembered my preferences. It's giving me jobs that are looking for a male narrator. It is supposedly not showing me erotica. However, this first title, it's very romantic. And then I've got all project lengths selected just for the sake of education. And then I do have my project budget slated at the $200 to $400 per finished hour bucket. That's the only bucket that I'll work in. I won't work for less than that. Generally, honestly, anything in this bucket, the $400 to $1,000 per finished hour bucket, well, Jimmy, why don't you go for those? That's where the real money is. Well, I guarantee you every project in this bucket is going to be a scam. Pick up the gun, my son. I'm sorry. Maybe someone out there will actually book this less than 1 hour project. I don't think you will. I don't think it's a real project. In fact, I think this cover is probably an AI cover. Yeah, look at that. God, that reeks of AI. Nope. So, yeah, avoid the top tier of payment. Look here if you're seriously looking, and honestly, if you're getting started, you are going to have to work for cheaper. Like, there are people out there, especially on the Facebook groups, who will, like, berate you for working for anything less than $250 per finished hour. But, like, I those people are they're not living on planet Earth. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, we're not gonna go into it. Don't feel ashamed. Like, know what you're worth, and be an advocate for yourself, but don't be ashamed for fighting to get into the industry by taking crappy jobs that pay crappy. Like, that's just how it's gonna be. And if a human can get that job instead of them just like shoveling it off into some AI slop factory, then all the better. Okay, so we're going to really quickly look, and I'll sort of talk about like why I consider certain titles and why I do not. Frequently you see on the Facebook groups, people are like, oh, like, where are the jobs? Like, there's nothing on ACX. And the problem with that approach is that there's nothing, perhaps at the moment that you last checked, but with ACX, see, Voices, is it Voices or Voice 123? I think it's Voice 123 has an actually functioning like RSS style feed. Like, if a job came in right now, without hitting refresh, it would show up in this feed. This is like an auto refreshing, like a functioning RSS style feed here. Voices is not like that. Voices, you actually have to hit refresh. So like, I'll frequently, like while I'm working, if I'm getting like little email pings or just for fun, I'll hit refresh. And actually, if you hit refresh at the right time, sometimes you'll see a job a full like 30 seconds before the email actually goes out. So you can like really get a jump on something if you get super, super lucky with your timing. That's the only way I ever actually get a job in to where I am the number one first talent to get in. Feels good when that happens, and you're much more likely to book that way. Anyway, that said, ACX, if you are really trying, like if you're hungry for audiobook titles, you got to be refreshing this page during like, normal like work hours, basically. On a Saturday night, I don't think I'm going to see anything new pop up here. But basically, you need to be refreshing this page a few times a day. If this is something that you want to be doing, you need to be doing this a few times a day while you're doing other stuff, while you're doing your business website, while you're doing social media, while you're doing whatever. Refresh this a few times a day, because this title was posted today. It's October 25th today. This title posted October 22nd. That might as well be ancient history. This book has already gotten potentially hundreds of auditions. And audiobook auditions are longer than your commercial voiceover auditions. Typically, they're 3 to 5 minutes. So if you've got hundreds of auditions in, and each one of them is 3 to 5 minutes, that's hours and hours and hours that no one's going to spend that time listening to every single audition. So they're going to listen to the first 10, maybe 20, maybe 50 if they're super, super picky. And even then, they're probably only listening to the first 5 seconds, if that. So if you're not quick, if you're not one of the first in, then you don't have a chance. You just don't. So based on that, if I were sitting here right now going like, ooh, I want to get an audiobook, I need to audition for something, everything on this page is disqualified except for our romance book here up at the top, because it was posted today. Everything else disqualified because it's too old. These are dead titles as far as I'm concerned, especially these ones that are over a month old. These are dead titles. If they haven't made an offer to a narrator, then they never will. This is just silliness. It's never going to happen. So, other things to look for. So the date, that is the most single important thing. You need to be quick. You need to be refreshing this, looking for the date. Hell, let's even drop down a price bucket here so we can see probably more things. A lot more things posted today. Okay. Things you don't want to do. Look at these. Football drills that dominate. Basketball drills that dominate. Baseball drills that dominate. These are all slop. I shouldn't be seeing royalty share anyway. Okay, really strange that. Okay. Those are slop. You know what? We'll go ahead and do this just so we can still see this. These are slop. I'm shocked that the project length is that long. We'll go ahead and look at it. God, how do they manage to crank out 30,000 words on this? I can almost guarantee you that this is going to be AI generated. Let's look at the cover. God, I think this is AI. Yeah, this seems pretty AI to me. Like, I don't know. I just no. No. Basically anything that's, if it's an exercise guides, cookbooks, those travel guides, joke books, little daily affirmations, or like little daily scripture type things. All of these are things you want to avoid. Generally speaking, you want to avoid. It's not to say that these can't be real jobs that pay real money, but they're usually going to be super, super short, under 3 hours. You generally don't want things under 3 hours in your portfolio, because in the audiobook world, if you've got fewer than 25, 30 books, you're considered a beginner. I've got 50 books. And even then, I'm still like, hey, I know what I'm doing, but I'm not like a veteran at 50 books. Now, imagine I tell some potential publisher, maybe I meet them at a convention or something like that, and I say like, hey, I've done 50 books. And they go, okay, cool. Like, Jimmy's been doing this for a bit. Cool. Later they follow up, they do a little bit of research, they look me up on Audible, and they start scrolling through and they go like, oh, all these 50 books, they're all these like exercise guides and cookbooks. Oh, he lied. He misrepresented his body of work to me by saying he had 50 books. These are 50 pamphlets. These aren't books. These aren't audiobooks. These are pamphlets. So you really, really want to be careful about having these things in your portfolio. If you get a real one that's going to pay you real money, use a pseudonym. Have a pseudonym for all the trash work. Like, if you want to do trashy, this sort of the garbage work, fine. Have a pseudonym for that stuff. And then when you get a real book that like you're proud to have on your portfolio, have that be under your own name. I've got some work that I've done that I kind of wish I'd used a pseudonym for, but you know what? It's diluted. It's way down in the algorithm because I've done 50 books. So it's unlikely that people are going to see that unless they really start digging deep. So just be mindful of that. So let's take a look here. Generally speaking, royalty share. God, these are hard. Royalty share is hard because there are so many criteria that are hard to articulate. You develop a bit of a spidey sense for royalty share. First of all, anything under 3 hours, just no. You don't want to do that for royalty share because the books, even if they sold quite a few, books this short are cheap. So each book sold is only going to be worth a few pennies. Like it's like never worth it. Judge a book by its cover when you're looking through this. There's a reason I keep like opening these images up in their own tab so I can look at them large to see if they're AI. If it's AI, avoid it. Like, sorry, if you're using AI for your book cover, like, what else? What else have you used AI for? Do you have any compunction about taking the audio I deliver to you and training your own AI model on my voice and then using that for the sequel to your book? Like, I don't know. People who use AI for like very simple things, even creative things, like I don't trust you. I don't trust you. This is something. There are a few like templates for book cover design that you'll learn to recognize. You'll learn to see them. It's not a super common one, but this is a book template that you'll see. This like semi-transparent and then bold stripe here with the two different fonts. It's covering the only interesting part of the cover. It's covering the humans. So we don't even know like what's going on here. Like we can't even tell like is this a modern story? It kind of looks like there's some modern rubble here, but like we don't know what we're looking at here. So this is a really, really bad cover. So just based on that and that it's under 3 hours, this is a book I would not recommend doing. Jesus. You know, this looks like it might potentially be like a real title. Let's take a look at this. I don't necessarily think that any of these are necessarily AI. Some of these might be some AI elements, but I do get the sense that a human was involved in at least compositing a bunch of elements from different places. Like this bee, this like almost Bitcoin looking necklace. And Bolin, the queen of Bitcoin. You know, I get a sense that this had a human touch to it, really put in a lot of effort. All this filigree, these little corner border type stuff going on. Like, this is a good cover. This is a good looking cover. Like this is something that I think that a lot of random readers scrolling through the library, if you will, might actually click on that and check it out. Likewise, this looks like it might be a good cover. Except for this looks really AI. Right? Potentially. I don't know. Well, there's something strange about it. Feet looking weird. I don't know. Something about it looks weird to me. But from a distance, Guardians of the Crown, the British Guards regiments. Like I don't really know much. Anyway, we're gonna move on here. Judge a book by its cover is the whole point there. Especially when you're looking at royalty share, which is what most of these are here. So we're judging by the cover. Be really careful with children's audiobooks. Those in particular have been flooded with AI slop. And even if you're like, I don't care, money's money, I'll read an AI generated book. The problem is that Amazon as a platform, Amazon owns Audible, and therefore this is the audiobook creation exchange where things get delivered to Audible. This is owned and run by Amazon. Amazon is like, they are doing their own like AI voice offering for some audiobook products, but generally speaking, Amazon has a policy of like no AI generated content on the Kindle or Audible platform. Kindle platform, let's just say that. No AI written content. On the Audible side, they can have their own synthetic voice as a product on there. All that's to say, if it's something that you're doing for a per finished hour, then I guess it doesn't really matter to you if you narrate something. Later, it's discovered to be AI generated and Amazon takes it off the platform. That's what I'm getting to. Is the danger is that the thing can be taken off the platform. And if you did it for royalty share, then you are screwed. You're out of luck. You're making a bet that this thing is eventually going to make you money in sales over the long run to make your initial labor input worthwhile. It's a long-term gamble when you do royalty share. So you need to be really sure that the thing is not going to be something that's going to get taken down off the platform because it fell foul of the terms of service, because it's AI or for whatever reason. Let's see here. Lots of stuff here. What other things? Let's just say, like, generally speaking, I want to find one that would be like, hey, you want to be careful with royalty share. Also, you don't want to do stuff under 3 hours because it's like not real for your portfolio. For royalty share, don't do stuff over 10 hours. Don't do these big giant mega projects because, again, it's a gamble and you are gambling a lot. 10 hours, especially if you're just getting started, which you probably are if you really are considering these crazy royalty share projects. Man, it's going to take you so long to produce a 10-hour audiobook. That's going to take you months of work, and you might not ever recoup a dollar. A dollar. You might not ever get a single dollar from all that work. So be really, really careful. Like, sweet spot, if you're just getting into this and you're looking at, your first couple projects are probably going to be royalty share, and you probably are never going to make your money back. So look for something between 3 and 5 hours. That's it's enough of a meaty, chunky project. It's hopefully a real project, but it's enough meat to where you're going to learn a ton just by going through the motions of narrating and editing your own work. You're going to learn about the time management, the character management skills that you'll need for longer projects. You'll start to learn a lot just from doing one of those projects. And if it never makes you a dollar, hey, you only spent a week or two on that project instead of months. Something strange that you shouldn't have to watch out for, but again, this is going back to the AI thing. If you see the same author posting multiple books, little alarm bells should go off in your head. Do we really believe that Xavier King wrote 4 titles each over 10 hours? Just recently, 200,000 words, 20 plus hours. Now, maybe this person wrote these a while ago and they only recently acquired the audio rights, or they're only just now getting around to getting the audiobook made. Sure. And on a Saturday, they decided hey, this finally have time. We're going to do it. We're going to post all the books that I've got. Sure. Maybe. Just be careful, because you will see that frequently, where you'll see a ton of books back to back, all being posted by the same author. So another thing to be careful of, right here, book 4. Immediate alarm bell should go off in your head. What happened to the narrator of books 1 through 3? Why are you changing narrators midstream? And especially on royalty share, no matter what. If books 1, 2, 3 had the worst narrator on the planet, and for book 4 they get Scott Brick and Jim Dale's magical child, and that person was taught by John Lee, all the greatest narrators rolled into one, this thing is still going to have tanked reviews, because people, once they have invested time hearing one person tell a story, they want to keep hearing that same voice. A better narrator doesn't exist. It needs to be the same narrator. And if you ever take over narration of a series from another narrator, depending on your tolerance for horrible, negative internet comments, I don't know. I'd recommend maybe not doing it all, or at least, quarantining certain parts of the internet from yourself, because people are going to be really, really nasty if you take over. I've done it on one major series. I am still the narrator for this series. I have narrated more books in this series than the original narrators. 2 different narrators. The series is more mine than it is anyone else's. It's my series now. I can confidently say that now. But that first book that I narrated, people were pissed. People were very, very, very upset to hear this new voice of mine. So just watch out. And also, you gotta be very. You want to have a conversation with the author or rights holder or whoever it is. You want to have a conversation and go hey, I don't want to pry. Understand that it might not be any of my business, but it's a little bit of my business. What's going on? What happened to the other narrator? Hopefully they'll give you some kind of indication. Don't expect them to air all the dirty laundry, but maybe they'll say something like, "Oh, the narrator just they couldn't meet our deadlines, they couldn't meet our timelines consistently, or we had a change of publisher and this person was exclusive to this publisher," something like that. Just be aware of that. See anything else here? I do want to actually open one that is something I would consider. If it says unspecified per finished hour, I'm not even going to look at that. If you can't even check a box. What else can you not do? Like, you're asking us to like put forth all of this effort to prepare an audition for you. You can put forth a little bit of effort and check a box. Let's see here. So like here, 5 to 10 hours, cool cover. Maybe it's AI or maybe it's not. But let's say I was interested in reading The Utopian World by Michael Rudd. 5.4 hours. That's perfect for a first book here. We've got our title summary. I kind of don't like that we don't have any of these. Not a lot of information here. Gender, male or female or gender neutral. Like, you have a preference. Please let it be known what your preference is. We've got no notes from the rights holder. That's kind of a bummer. No indication of like, hey, what do you actually want to hear here? Don't be too scared of this. 0 ratings on Amazon. If it's a brand new title. This came out on October 12th. It does take a while for reviews to hit Amazon and then for those to filter through to ACX. So here on Amazon, does it still have 0 reviews as shown on Amazon? It does. That's not a good sign. Like, let's look at this author, Michael Rudd. This person, okay, I'm a little skeptical of Michael Rudd because their stuff is all over the place. They've got these, wait, oh, no. Oh, please show me things written by Michael Rudd. Okay. Weird that they're showing things written by other people. J. Michael Rudd. Show me the first Michael Rudd. Okay, have they never written anything else? I guess they've never written anything else. Maybe be a little bit skeptical. I don't know. I'd really like want to be like looking and finding out more. I can't. Whoa, you're supposed to be able to read like more. Okay, here we go. Okay. I actually want to see the copyright information. So there's that. On ACX, I would want to look at the audition script. And it's the prologue. So this is a bummer too. What you want to see, a good rights holder, they're going to pick a passage from their book that ideally is going to have dialogue between male and female characters. Hopefully one of them is their protagonist, maybe an antagonist, like the major characters that you're going to hear a lot in the audiobook, and you want them in conversation with male and female characters. You want to have them talking to each other back to back to back. That's like the number one, like, immediate, like, base level skill qualifier or disqualifier. Like, can you have those two characters those two genders in conversation? Because if you can't do that, then you can't do the job. So the fact that this audition doesn't have that, it's just prose narration, and there's one character, Dr. Pilar Sol. His voice never rose. It flowed like a river over stone. "We have evolved past suffering," he said, "and now we must evolve past choice." Pilar's eyes flicked to the monitors. They showed synchronized neural patterns from test subjects in another room, each pattern a precise, steady line climbing to a new rhythm. One scientist whispered, "Oh, maybe this one scientist. Oh, wait, actually." Oh, my God. One scientist whispered, "They're all happy." Pilar's fingers flexed slightly against her palm. Oh, wait, is Pilar... Oh, Pilar is that is a woman's name. But happiness without will isn't peace, she murmured. Keel's gaze swept the room slowly, resting briefly on each scientist. "Silence is the sound of peace, Doctor," he said. So it's not so bad. It does happen to kind of satisfy what I'm talking about here, but the fact that it's the first page of the book makes me think like, hey, you could have been a little bit more thoughtful about the passage that you're picking. So I got a lot of alarm bells, a lot of spidey senses tingling about this title. And then there's, you could, if you look at the Facebook groups, there's I think it's called Audiobook Author Snoop. Maybe it's just Author Snoop. But basically from this page right here, it's a little plugin, a little widget in your browser that will like analyze like just the metadata and all this other stuff, and it'll sort of give you like a score, like, hey, do we think this is a BS job or is it a real job? Because you never know. But you should trust your gut. There are plenty of jobs here. Oh my God. Yeah, how to pick up women in college and hook up. The official playbook for techniques. Oh my God. Don't narrate this. God. The art of nipple turning? What are we doing here? How to dirty talk for men. Oh my God. Jesus. Suffice to say, there's a lot of slop. But there are good projects. Typically, you just want to get out of royalty share hell. Like, look at this cover. This looks super cool. I'd be super sad if it's AI. This looks like it might be a real cover. Like, that's cool as hell. His face is a little weird. It's a little strange. But, like, kind of cool. Art, design, and poem by... Wait, is this a poem? Is this super short? Oh, it's under 3 hours. Oh, yeah, super, super short. Little note for you here. If something is, in the audiobook world, if something is under an hour, your rate is the full hour. This applies especially for, like, children's books and things. 3,200 words, 0.4 hours. That's a pretty good estimate, 0.3, 0.4 hours, especially if it's poetry. Poetry is going to tend to have a little bit of a slower cadence. So 0.4, even half an hour it might take you to read that. You're going to get paid the full rate, whatever the rate is that you quote. So if you get quoted and they accept the full 200 per finished hour rate, you want to be clear in your communication that, like, this is the expectation. But I think even within Audible, like, I think Audible, like, automatically does that roundup for the first hour. I think. I'm actually not sure if Audible does that automatically, but you need to communicate that that is the expectation, and you will not release this audio for final delivery until you have made receipt of payment for the full amount. Yeah. Anyway, you don't want to read this. Eggs, a lot more than delicacy. Poultry farming for eggs and meat done sustainably. Like, these little how-tos. Nah, man, you don't want to do it. AI for beginners demystified. Like, okay. Why don't you get an AI voice on that, brother? Yeah. ACX, man, it's a tricky... It's a little bit of a minefield. You got to develop a bit of a spidey sense. You're going to make some missteps. You're going to read some crap, whatever. But hopefully, over the long run, you'll figure it out. And you won't need someone like me to talk shit about all these titles. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to... Let me take a look at what our next chapter would be if we started our audiobook. How long is our next chapter going to be? A 30-minute. How long have we been live? Hour 49. We might start reading our book here. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start reading USS Battle Strike, Book 15 of the USS Hamilton series. Now, I know that I've had my my screen, I've been showing you what I've been reading. However, my arrangement with the author of the USS Hamilton series is that I can stream me narrating these books live. However, they don't want to show the text on screen. And there's very good reasons for that. In fact, I suggest this to the authors that I negotiate with. Hey, let me do the occasional chapter live on stream, but I won't show the text. Because very frequently, I have pre-print manuscripts, things that are not for public release just yet. Short romance app project. I'm not going to do that one. So it'll have like print markers and borders and guides, ruler mark type things. Sometimes if it's a doc, like a .docx or something like that, it might actually have comments still turned on or something like that. Just things like that happen. And obviously that's not something that they want the public to see. I also have my own notes on my manuscript, on my copy here. So what we're going to do is first, let me make sure that I'm not going to show off a bunch of proprietary information. Here we go. This will be good. Here's my big old master worksheet. Yeah, this is good. Basically, all that I've got here is I've got this little smart table that basically I've just inputted in like how long each chapter is. So these are chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so forth. And this is just how long these chapters are. So chapter 7 is the next one I'm going to read. It's 13 pages long. I've got some fancy code here that basically estimates how long it's going to take me to read that. This says 29 minutes, 59 seconds is about how long it's going to take me to narrate that. And then from there, it'll calculate how long it thinks that chapter is actually going to be as far as finished hours. But for now, all that I need to know, about 30 minutes. But since we're doing it live on stream, I tend to work a little bit slower because I'm yapping the whole time. I'm explaining what I'm doing. Biggest things to know, though. First of all, let's open USS Battlestrike. Yeah, save changes. Biggest thing to know is that I'm going to be heavily doing punch and roll recording. And I was doing a little bit of it. That's annoying. I was doing a little bit of it for some of the voiceover work here. But for this, I will 100% be doing punch and roll for 95% of edit points. There'll be a few points where I might do a miniature long roll. I'll explain those when I come to them. But generally speaking, this is what we're going to be seeing. Now, a little bit about USS Battlestrike. Obviously, we're going to be starting here on the stream today at Chapter 7. So you're not going to be getting a lot of background. Also, I don't have chat up in my face. Is there any way I can... How about this? I'm going to unmute that, but mute the stream. Okay, that should be good to where if someone... Yeah. Now if someone, like, subscribes or something, I should be able to... yeah, I should be able to hear it. Can I get like a... I want to get like an audio ping when someone chats. Is there an easy way to do that? Like Twitch audio notification. Chat audio notification. Is there a simple It's chatty. I've got a second tablet. It seems kind of crazy to have like two tablets in my face. How about this? Can I pop out this chat window? I can. All right, that's how we'll do it. Ooh, now we got to figure out. Or, oh, I know. I'll just split the, I'll split it on my tablet here. So I will for sure see it. Do I do double tap there? Here we go. Split screen. sure. Okay. Okay. Cool. All right, that's gonna work. Okay, so I can see chat, at least Twitch chat. I still don't know about YouTube chat, but we'll find out, I guess. So, so I can still see chat. So if you got any questions, or whatever, feel free to hit me up. USS Battle Strike. Okay, there should be no. There should be no like content warning type stuff. There's some light profanity. Up to like sort of your standard rated R type profanity. There's no like slurs or anything like that. Just like an occasional F word. We are going to be dropping right into a situation where they've been dropped into a simulation of World War II Berlin. So this is fully sci-fi. We are aboard a spaceship, but they have been dropped into what was supposed to be a recreational simulation, sort of like a live video game, if you will, of World War II Berlin with zombies, of course. But they're trapped in the simulation. And the simulation is not so much a simulation anymore as it is developing, and things are going off the rails a bit. They're trapped and they have to really fight their way out. So, like, references to, like, World War II German things might exist, but not in a way that is going to get anybody canceled. Like this book, this book series, like it's good. It's good. There's nothing that's going to be weird here. There's no later in the book. There is it's much later in the book, and I wouldn't narrate this scene on stream anyway, but later in the book there is I wouldn't call it sexual violence, but it's close. It ain't good. It ain't a good event that happens. It is told in a way it's depicted in a way that's respectful and realistic, not overly graphic or anything like that. It's not full-on sexual violence. It is it's an uncomfortable scene, but it's not something that's most people would find particularly traumatic. If you've experienced that kind of thing yourself, obviously lots of things could be potential triggers, but I think that for the most part the general public will just go like, ooh, that was uncomfortable. Okay, moving on. Anyway, but that's not going to happen on stream today, or ever. I'm not going to read that scene on stream. But I wouldn't want that to discourage you from checking out the full series, because it is a very good full series of books. Again, this is book 15. I've been narrating this series since book 9, I think. So it's a good, fun, very successful book series, and I'm excited to get back into it. So let me shut up, and we're going to do that. About 30 minutes on this chapter. Realistically, in like IRL time, might be a little bit longer, just because of the yap factor. You always have to consider the yap factor. We are coming in with Sonia. The lead character in this series is Galvin Quintos. For the first 8 books of this series, his name was pronounced Quintos. And I asked the author, hey, how do you want the lead character's name pronounced? And he sent me an audio file of him saying Galvin Quintos. And you better believe that listeners were still pissed that I'm pronouncing the lead character's name wrong. I just got an email. It's a Voice 123 invitation. Let's take a look at it real quick. $200 for history, poignant message, whimsical, wonder of nature, light of the lotus. For thousands of years, across cultures and faiths, the lotus has told the same story, that purity can rise from chaos, that beauty can be born from what seems broken. In Egypt, the lotus symbolized the sun. In India, enlightenment. In China and Japan, virtue. Okay, what is this? I don't know what this is, though. This seems potentially... I'm not getting a good vibe from this. I'm just not. I don't know what that's about. Moving on. Okay. So, Galvin Quintos. He's the main character. However, in this chapter, we are starting with Sonia Winters. This is Galvin Quintos' niece. We are aboard USS Battlestrike. We are headed out into very, 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 very deep space, about 72,000 light years from Earth, I believe. We are headed there to take on the big bad guys of this particular novel, who are the technomycoids, a fungus that mindlessly spreads, and it acquires biological and mechanical matter, incorporating it into its mega hive mind. Yeah. But yeah, we'll meet lots of fun characters, and this will be good. So we're going to do this. I've got my little timer down here, my little stopwatch, my chess timer, if you will, and I'm going to hit start. Chapter 7. Uncharted Space. No tracks are record enabled. Now we're record enabled. You may be hearing a little bit of a chorus effect, a little bit of a doubling. Ain't much I can do about that, because otherwise you would not be able to hear the punch and roll and understand what was going on. So deal with it. Chapter 7. Uncharted Space. USS Battlestrike. Bridge. Sonia Winters. Sonia was deep in the data streams when everything went to hell. 3 mini halo displays floated around her workstation like glowing ghosts, each one cascading information faster than most people could read. But she wasn't most people. Years of managing symbiopath systems had taught her to process massive amounts of technical... Yeah, we're going to come in the middle of the sentence because we're a pro. Years of managing symbiopath systems had taught her to process massive amounts of technical data the way other people read picture books. Picture books. Massive amounts of technical data the way other people... Massive amounts of technical data the way other people read picture books. And what she was reading left her shaken. "Tom," she called out, not looking away from her shaken. "Tom," she called out, not looking away from the displays. "You need to see this." Grimes appeared at her shoulder, his bulk casting shadows across the floating screens. The man had gotten even more muscular since their last deployment, if that was possible. He smelled like the gym, and that cheap cologne he thought made him irresistible to women. "What have you got?" he asked, leaning closer to study the data streams. What have you got?" he asked, leaning closer to study the data streams. What have you got?" he asked, leaning closer to study the data streams. She gestured to the central display, where infection vectors were spreading across a 3-dimensional model of the R&R deck, like cracks spiderwebbing through glass. "Nella's detected an anomaly in the version sub-F..." Okay, that's a lot happening there. Cracks spiderwebbing through glass. Cracks spiderwebbing through glass. "Nella's detected cracks spiderwebbing through glass. Nella's detected an anomaly in the version sub-F symbiopaths. Nella's detected an anomaly in the version sub-F symbiopaths. They're showing signs of actual biological infection." "That's impossible," Grimes said, but his voice carries... All right, we're going to fix this. We did a little bit of a long roll here because I was really having a hard time with that sentence. And there we go. "Nella's detected an anomaly..." It's not great, but it's fine. "That's impossible," Grimes said, but his voice carried less certainty than his words. "Those things are barely more than..." "Those things are barely more complex than toasters." "Yeah, well, apparently someone forgot to tell the infection that." Sonia flipped to another display, showing cellular breakdown patterns that looked disturbingly organic. This is something I'd seen. That looked disturbingly organic. This is something I've seen before, back in the archives from Weonin. She pulled up another halo, this one showing historical data from Pleiadian laboratories. The patterns were identical. Cellular corruption. The patterns were identical. Cellular corruption spreading through artificial. The patterns were identical. Cellular corruption spreading through artificial. Oh my God. The patterns were identical. Cellular corruption spreading through artificial biological matrices. That's hard to say. Holy. The patterns were identical. Cellular corruption spreading through artificial biological matrices like wildfire through dry grass. The Pleiadians were developing these zombie symbiopaths in a controlled laboratory environment, she explained, her fingers dancing across the interface to pull up more files. But there was an incident. Probably something as stupid as a lab worker not washing his hands after dropping a deuce. But the infection crossed over from their test subjects to the production units. Grimes was studying the data with the intense focus. Grimes was studying the data with the intense focus he usually reserved for navigation problems. So you're saying this has happened before? Once, on Weonin. Oh, sorry. So you're saying this has happened before? Once, on Weonin. They had to sterilize an entire research facility. She gestured to the final display, showing the current status of the R&R decks. The infection stays dormant until the symbiopaths become active for extended periods, like, say, when they're running around trying to eat people in a zombie simulation. Jesus Christ. Gets better. The Pleiadian records show that once the infection activates... Jesus Christ. Gets better. The Pleiadian records show that once the infection activates, it spreads exponentially. Come on. Records show that once the infection activates, it spreads exponentially. Every minute those things are active, more units get infected. And eventually... She didn't need to finish. Come on. Get infected. And eventually... She didn't need to finish. The historical data showed what happened when artificial biological systems succumbed to this particular infection. They didn't just die. They became something else. Something hungry. That's when Nella's voice filled the bridge. Something else. Something hungry. That's when Nella's voice filled the bridge with its characteristic clinical calm. Attention, bridge crew. Attention, bridge crew. Due to emergency... Attention, bridge crew. Due to current emergency protocols, Helmsman Thomas Grimes will assume temporary command... Attention, bridge crew. Due to current emergency protocols, Helmsman Thomas Grimes will assume temporary command of USS Battlestrike, effective immediately. Sonia and Grimes exchanged a look that said everything they couldn't voice on an open bridge. She had feelings for Tom. Complicated, messy feelings she kept buried under layers of professional distance and teenage sarcasm. But feelings didn't equal confidence in command ability. Thomas Grimes was a hell of a helmsman. He could thread a needle. Grimes was a hell of a helmsman. He could thread a needle with an 11 million ton warship and make it look easy. But commanding a ship in crisis? But commanding a ship in crisis? Managing competing priorities and making life or death decisions for 5,000 people? She kept her doubts to herself. "Acknowledged, Nella," Grimes said, his voice steadier than she'd expected. "Status report on current situation?" Before Nella could respond, Hardy and Dorota burst onto the bridge like they were fleeing plasma fire. The Chronobot's chrome plating was reflecting the emergency lighting in shifting patterns, while Dorota's lab coat looked like
emergency lighting in shifting patterns, while Dorota's lab coat looked like someone had wadded it up and used it for kickball. Make a little correction in my script here. So, using some kind of script annotation software, like something as simple as like a PDF reader where you are able to make simple annotations, is super, super useful because, some people I see on Facebook, some people talking about like them going through and like line by line highlighting all the different characters, like spoken lines in different colors. It's like, bro, who has time for all that? That's crazy. So I don't do anything like that. My annotations are actually quite sparse. I will do a special highlight for anything, especially in my pre-read, because you got to read a book cover to cover before you start narrating it, especially for fiction. For nonfiction, certain kinds of nonfiction, you can kind of get away with it. But for full narration of fiction, you gotta read it front to back. And during that time, the annotations that I'll make is anything that indicates an accent or otherwise the sound characteristics of someone's voice. I highlight that. Anything that I am probably going to have to double check pronunciation in the moment as I'm narrating, I've got the option for like a squiggly underline. I'll squiggly underline anything with a weird pronunciation that I'm not super sure of. I don't do all that research like ahead of time, like while I'm doing my pre-read, because I'll forget it. When I get to narrating, I'll be like, oh, right, I looked up how that was pronounced, and I forgot. So rather than doubling up the work, I look it up in the moment. And then the last thing is that mistakes. These are, for the most part, indie authors that I'm working with. They either don't have a publishing company at all, or it's their own publishing company, or it's a very small publishing company. They don't have, an army of editors. In this particular book, it's a couple. It's a team, writer and editing, and they're self-publishing. So occasionally, like little tiny, small, usually typographical types of errors will make its way into the copy that I see. So right now, I just detected there's a tiny little error involving like the use of quotation marks. Doesn't change how I'm actually saying it. It wouldn't have any effect on that, but just in the text itself, it is technically like a typographical error. And to me, it looks like the quote was just on the wrong side of an enter stroke. That's all it was. But I just made a little notification there. Real quick here for what we're about to hear, before anyone gets the idea to cancel me. For voiceover, not audiobook narration, but for voiceover, authenticity in authenticity in casting is important. I am not going to audition for, and nor should I ever be cast for, voice lines that are meant to be spoken by someone of African American heritage. That would be crazy for me to audition for that. If there are any kind of, African American vernacular English type things happening in a commercial voiceover script, I detect that and I immediately go, oh, right, that's not for me. And likewise, like we had earlier, we had that one audition that had a lot of Spanish in it. I can speak Spanish, and in some cases, those auditions are okay for me, but the script was basically talking sort of in a first-person view from the American Latino point of view. That's not me. That's not my lived experience, and so I felt it was not appropriate for me to narrate, to do that audition. Audiobooks are a different game. Audiobooks, one narrator narrating unlimited characters from unlimited, unrestricted backgrounds. So, you as the narrator are going to have to figure out how to reconcile
being respectful with being an entertaining and authentic portrayal of the characters who are in this story. So, we're about to hear from two characters who have accents very different from my own, neither of which represent my lived experience. One is a Bostonian. I'm not from New England. I live in Maine now, but I'm not from New England. Boston is not my lived experience. That accent isn't something that I was raised with. The other character is from Mumbai, India. Another life experience and accent that I was not raised with. However, in the context of an audiobook, it is okay and in fact necessary that I, as a white guy, do a little bit of a respectful rendition of the accent. This is not the same as Apu from The Simpsons. This is a different thing because this is a different form of art that requires one actor to portray everyone under the sun. And I hope that that comes across in my performance, that it is not a caricature, but a character rendering. This character is a brilliant scientist who's a bit frazzled, a bit excitable, but he's not Apu. He's not a caricature. He's a real character with depth, and hopefully that comes across in my portrayal. The Bostonian is a bit of a caricature. But that's okay. The Bostonian very much is comic relief. He is a middle-aged Bostonian, like, dock worker whose like consciousness became trapped in the body, the frame of a 7-foot-tall like war machine, an android that was meant for battle, a chronobot, and it is now inhabited by the consciousness of middle-aged Bostonian longshoreman John Hardy. So these characters are who are about to be introduced, and so I just want to give that preface there. Similarly, later in the book, we might hear from Chief LaSalle. Actually, I don't think LaSalle has any. He might have some lines in this book. A guy he's from Louisiana, and he's a black guy, and I lived for 8 years in Houston, and so I've been around with and known lots of folks who sort of fit that description, and I sort of draw on that to hopefully yield a little bit of a more nuanced and respectful relaying of that character, and again, not delving into any kind of stereotype or caricature of that accent or that culture. That's why I love audiobooks. It's such a different, it's a different sort of exercise in character work that you can't really do in any other forms of media outside of outside of a classroom, really. I don't know where else you would really, really be able to stretch yourself in ways that would open you up to, in some cases, rightful criticism from outside audiences. If they saw someone who looked like me doing some of the voices that come up, in many cases, that ain't right. Big picture, though, casting is important in audiobooks because if the main character is, for example, a black woman, everything I've just said is still true, but the point of view of the broad narrative should probably be something that you take into account when casting. So, the great book, The Hate You Give, that won audiobook of the year and all these awards, nearly 10 years ago. The Hate You Give, brilliant performance. I can't remember the narrator's name, but she did a great job. But she was able to narrate from a very authentic place, a place that I could never truly authentically narrate from for the duration of an 8 to 10 hour book. I can put myself in that mind space for a few lines for a character, but for the full thrust of narrative prose, authenticity in casting is important for audiobooks as well. Just got a little email ding, and it's another Voice 123 audition. Quoted by the voice actor. Nope. I don't even have to look at it. I know it's BS. So let's go back, making sure we're good here. All right, let's hear from Hardy and Stefan Dorota. All right.
The emergency lighting in shifting patterns, while Dorota's lab coat looked like someone had wadded it up and used it for kickball.
Used it for kickball. Now, where am I in the text here? There it is. All right. For certain accents, some accents have little phrases that you can say that will quickly remind your brain and your mouth where it needs to go. So, for example, I think it's Pittsburgh has poster boat, that O sound. And for Boston, it's park the car in the car park. So here we go, park the car in the car park, and we're going to be John Hardy. Here we go.
Wadded it up and used it for
Kickball. Captain, helmsman, Hardy corrected himself, moving to one of the primary stations. You need to see this. The Chronobot's hands moved across the controls with inhuman precision, bringing up across the controls with inhuman precision, bringing up several large halo displays that showed live feeds from inside the R&R decks. What they saw made everyone on the bridge go quiet. The simulated Berlin was in chaos. Bodies, artificial bodies, but still bodies, littered the streets. Some were motionless, their heads blown apart by rifle fire. Others were moving with that distinctive zombie shamble, pursuing something off-camera with mindless persistence. And there, in a small room that looked like it had been part of a bombed-out building, they could see a figure hunched in the corner. The name stenciled onto his army fatigues read Fagin, but what they were looking at barely qualified as human anymore. His skin had taken on a gray-green pallor, and dark veins were visible beneath the surface like a roadmap to hell. Can't we just contact them? Aaron Katz. We haven't heard from Aaron Katz in 4 books. I've got notes somewhere for Aaron Katz. I'm trying to remember. All right, I have to bring up my notes. We're going to do that off screen over here. It's in my drive. I'm just going to do a search here for it. Aaron Katz. Oh, God. Jesus. Is it this one? Yep. All right. Katz. Let's see what we have about Katz. Crew member Aaron Katz, damage control station. Earnest, mid-range upward inflection, which puts him pretty similar to Thomas Grimes, unfortunately. A robust man with a hearty presence. Aaron, age 27, coordinates damage control responses. His earnest demeanor reflects his commitment to maintaining the structural integrity of the ship, showing great initiative in life and death situations. Calm demeanor. That, my friends, is how you do. I don't do it as much anymore, but when I was first getting into this book series, I was making very, very extensive notes and sort of keeping track, because frequently with these big ship crews, lots of characters will get introduced all at one time, and you never know. If you pre-read, by the end of the book, you know who's still around, but you never know if in the next book, during the prologue, half of these characters are going to die. You just never know. So, yeah. It's very, very, very interesting. Let's see here.
Like a roadmap to hell.
Mid-range upward inflection.
Surface like a roadmap
To hell. Can't we just contact them? Aaron Katz at the damage control station asked. Talk to them? Tell them what's happening? Hardy shook his head, his chrome features somehow managing to look grim. Communications are down across the affected decks. Tech bands are little more than friendship bracelets at the moment. That's when Doc Viv made her dramatic entrance. Major Vivian Lee swept onto the bridge with the kind of authority that came from years of making life-and-death decisions in Health Bay. She took one look at the displays. Making life-and-death decisions in Health Bay. She took one look at the displays decisions in Health Bay. She took one look at the displays showing Fagan's deteriorating condition and immediately went into command mode. "I need that man transported to Health Bay immediately," she said, not bothering with pleasantries or protocol. "Whatever's happening, I need to examine him before he dies." Sonia was on her feet before she realized she'd moved. "That's a terrible idea." "Agreed," Grimes added, though he looked... "That's a terrible idea." "Agreed," Grimes added, though he looked uncomfortable contradicting a senior officer. "Doc, we don't know this..." Contradicting a senior officer. "Doc, we don't know if this infection can or will spread to other humans. Which is exactly why I need to examine him." "Can or will spread to other humans. Which is exactly why I need to examine him," Viv shot back, her green eyes flashing with frustration. "We're flying blind here. Every minute we wait is a minute closer to losing... We're flying blind here. Every minute we wait is a minute closer to losing him entirely." Dorota was looking between all of them like a man watching a tennis match where the ball was made of antimatter. "I can see the necessity for caution," he said finally, "but also the medical imperative..." "The necessity for caution," he said. Let's take that again. Where the ball was made of antimatter. "I can see the necessity for caution," he said finally, "but also the medical..." "Necessity for caution," he said finally, "but also the medical imperative for immediate treatment. Perhaps if we could establish a quarantine protocol. Helpful as always, Stefan." "If we could establish a..." This is... Hold on. Is this a sarcastic? I think it is. "Helpful as always," Sonia thought. Yeah. "If we could establish a quarantine protocol. Helpful as always, Stefan," Sonia thought. When the ship was falling apart, you could count on this... Helpful as always, Stefan, Sonia thought. When the ship was falling apart, you could count on their science officer to see both sides of every issue while committing to none of them. "There's no time for elaborate protocols," Viv said, her voice taking on the tone she used when lecturing medical students. Every issue while committing to none of them. "There's no time for elaborate protocols," Viv said, her voice taking on the tone she used when lecturing medical students. "For elaborate protocols," Viv said, her voice taking on the tone she used when lecturing medical students. "That man is dying. Whatever this infection is..." Students. "That man is dying. Whatever this infection... Let's get that again. She used when lecturing medical students. "That man is dying. Whatever this infection is, it's consuming his cellular structure. Whatever this infection is, it's consuming his cellular structure at an exponential rate. In another hour, there won't be anything left to save." Nella's voice cut through their argument with typical AI timing. "Warning. Implementing emergency containment protocols. Environmental systems being reconfigured for biological hazard isolation. Deck and interdeck isolation procedures now active." We're going to pause and get this real mess sorted out here. "That man is dying. Whatever this infection is, it's consuming his... Whatever this infection is, it's consuming his cellular..." Okay, that was simple enough, actually. So, real quick, something I'm doing here. So, right now, everything on this whole timeline is just simple cuts. Whenever I do a miniature little long roll like that, where I just, instead of doing punch and roll, I'll just let it roll, and I'll just, like, keep saying the line until I get it. It's going to save a little bit of time. Whenever I make those edits in the moment, because who knows, it might be days before I come back and edit this, and I'm going to forget all the little spots where I did that. So I always edit it right there in the moment, and I do my crossfades by hand right there. So that later, as I'm doing my edits and I'm hitting tab to jump from edit point to edit point, as I hit tab, when I get to those points where I've already made the edit, I can see, oh, there's a crossfade here already. I don't need to do any further edits because I edited that in the moment because that was a moment of long roll.
Cellular structure at an
That's all.
exponential rate. In another hour, there won't be anything left to save. Nella's voice cut through.
All right,
Deck and interdeck isolation procedures now active.
cool. Very good. All right, back to work here. We're probably about halfway through narrating this chapter, yeah? Yeah, about. All right, here we go.
Isolation procedures
Now active. The lights on the bridge shifted to emergency amber, and Sonia could hear the distant sound of deck gate bulkheads.
amber, and Sonia could hear the
Distant sound of deck gate bulkheads sealing throughout the ship. Nella was locking down Battlestrike like a biological research facility during a containment breach. Duck!
research facility during a
Containment breach. Duck! Sonia.
research facility during a containment
breach. Duck! Sonia. Oh my god.
research facility during a
Containment breach. Duck! Sonia said, trying to keep the sarcasm out of her voice and failing. In case you missed it, our AI just declared a ship-wide biological emergency. Maybe now isn't the best time to bring the infected guy into close contact with unprotected crew members. But Viv...
close contact with unprotected
crew members? But Viv was already moving toward the nearest comm panel, her jaw set with the kind of determination that had carried her through a dozen impossible medical crises. Nella, prepare for emergency quansport to Health Bay Isolation Chamber 7. Wait.
Port to Health Bay Isolation Chamber
7. Wait, Hardy interjected, his chrome fingers working frantically at his station. Doc, you better hurry if you're going to do this. You better.
Fingers working frantically at his
Station. Doc, you better hurry if you're going to do this. Nella's already begun the process of deactivating quansporters ship-wide. Sonia felt her heart sink. What? Deck ports too, Hardy added grimly. She's sealing the ship tighter than a plasma containment field. I'd say you've got time for one quansport before everything goes dark. Oh my god.
Ship tighter than a plasma
Containment field. I'd say you've got time for one quansport before everything goes dark. Viv didn't hesitate. She turned to face Nella's nearest sensor cluster and spoke with the kind of authority that came from being the final word on medical matters aboard a U.S. space Navy vessel. Okay.
cluster and spoke with the
Kind of authority that came from being the final word on medical matters aboard a U.S. Space Navy vessel. Nella, I'm invoking Medical Protocol 22-5. When it comes to ship-wide health issues, my medical judgment takes precedence over all other considerations, including command decisions. Quansport Eric Fagan to Health Bay Isolation Chamber 7 immediately. Sonia was on her feet again, teenage indignation overriding military protocol. Are you kidding me? You're putting the entire crew at risk. If you wanted to help, you should have quansported yourself up to the R&R deck, not brought the infection up here. So this is a case where it's not like an error, like it's not a typographical error, but the R&R deck is down, well, yeah. We can't say up and then up. It's going to be down then up. So we're going to replace this with down.
You're putting the
An important thing to note is that all these like errors that I'm fixing in the moment, the reason I'm marking them is that so later I can compile a report that I send to the author. So that they can review that and decide, hey, Jimmy, I actually wrote it how I meant it. Shut up and read it as it's written. And that's, in which case, I shut up in color and I do as told. But generally speaking, the kinds of edits that I'm suggesting, 95% of the time, they're accepted. This is a nebulizer. Simple saline. There's no fucking THC in here. Get off my back. Voice is feeling a little bit scratchy. I've been yapping so much. Ice drops. There we go. Oh yeah, better.
You're putting the entire crew at risk. If you wanted to help, you should have quansported yourself up to the R&R deck. Crew at risk. If you wanted to help, you should have crew at risk. If you wanted to help, you should have quansported yourself down to the R&R deck, not brought the infection up here.
But it was too late. The familiar blue-white light. But it was too late. The familiar blue-white light of Quansport activation was already filling one corner of the bridge, and when it faded, Eric Fagan was gone from his prison cell in simulated Berlin. Corner of the bridge, and when it faded, Eric Fagan was gone from his prison cell in simulated Berlin. Corner of the bridge. When it faded, Eric Fagan. Oh my God. Of the bridge, and when it faded, Eric Fagan was gone from his prison cell in simulated Berlin. Did that sound okay? Cell in simulated Berlin. I think it's fine. From his prison cell in simulated Berlin. Quansport complete, Nella announced with clinical satisfaction. All Quansporter and deckport systems now offline for indefinite security shutdown protocols. Hardy looked up from his station, his black faceplate now displaying his balding, middle-aged John Hardy face with wide, shocked eyes and an O of surprise for his mouth. Well, Doc, you got your patient. I have to make another mark here for, there's a formatting error. Usually when the AI speaks, when Nella talks, they sort of set that aside on its own line with sort of special formatting, and they didn't do it there. So I'm going to make sure that the author gets that note. An O of surprise for his mouth. An O of surprise for his mouth. Well, Doc, you got your patient, but Nella's shut down all ship transportation systems. No Quansports, no deck ports. We're all walking. No Quansports, no deck ports. We're all walking from here on out. All eyes turned to Grimes, who was looking like a man who'd just been handed command of a sinking ship in the middle of a storm. We follow emergency protocols, he said finally. Lockdown is the logical response. Emergency protocols, he said finally. Lockdown is the logical response to a biological threat. Sonia slumped back into her chair, watching the feeds from the R&R decks, where Uncle Galvin and his team were trapped with dwindling ammunition and growing numbers of infected symbiopaths. Great, just great. Moving around the ship is now going to be like navigating a maze designed by someone who hates us. Grimes looked to Hardy. Talk to us about alternative routes. Tapping a finger against his metallic chin, as if in deep thought, the Chronobot's faceplate shifted to what appeared to be a small spinning beach ball, something that probably in the late 22nd century meant nothing. Appeared to be a small spinning beach ball, something that probably in the late 22nd century appeared to be a small spinning beach ball, something that probably in the late 22nd century meant nothing. There are maintenance corridors that run behind the main passageways. Confined spaces, but they connect most major sections of the ship. Problem is, as Nella seals off more and more of the deck gates, who knows if more and more of the deck gates, who knows if even the maintenance more of the deck gates, who knows if even the maintenance chutes will be accessible. Understood, Grimes said, though nothing in his voice suggested he actually understood anything about the situation they'd stumbled into. Doc, can you... About the situation they'd stumbled into. Doc, can you and Stefan get to Health Bay? Figure out what we're dealing with there? Doc, can you and Stefan get to Health Bay? Figure out what we're dealing with here? And keep me informed of any developments?
Sonia watched Doc, Viv, and Dorota, who had turned to leave even before getting Grimes's half-hearted instructions. She watched them hurry from the bridge, both speaking in undertones, undoubtedly working through various medical protocols while congratulating themselves on their quick thinking and decisive action. Sonia's irritation only grew stronger. They'd brought a potentially infected crew member into the heart of the ship, allowed their transportation systems to be shut down, and left the rest of the team trapped in an artificial hell. Medical Protocol 22-5. There was probably a boardroom full of lawyers who'd spent months crafting that particular piece of bureaucratic genius. Within moments of their departure, the overhead klaxons began their familiar wail, and emergency lights started flashing throughout the bridge. The sound was high-pitched and grating, designed to make sure no one could ignore whatever crisis had triggered it. Grimes stood in the center of the bridge. No one could ignore whatever crisis had triggered it. Grimes stood in the center of the bridge, looking like a man who'd just realized he was in way over his head. Command wasn't like piloting. You couldn't just adjust heading and throttle until everything worked out. Sonia turned her attention back to the R&R deck feeds, watching her Uncle Galvin and his team moving through the underground tunnels with old-fashioned weapons and expressions of growing desperation. So what? We just leave them down there? Let them get turned into zombies while we sit up here congratulating ourselves on following protocol? The question hung in the air like smoke from a plasma fire. Everyone on the bridge was thinking the same thing, but nobody wanted to Everyone on the bridge was thinking the same thing, but nobody wanted to voice it. They'd just abandoned their captain and seven other crew members. Fagin was fortunate enough I might have to long roll on this. And 7 other crew members. Fagin was fortunate enough to be and now I got a burp. Fagin was fortunate enough to be transported out of the simulation to save themselves from a threat they didn't understand. She turned to Hardy, who was standing at his station like a chrome statue. "What are you going to do, Hardy? Just stand there?" No, we got to reread that line. Okay, let's fix this. How many times did it take me to get this? Maybe here? And 7 other crew members. Fagin was fortunate enough to be transported out of the simulation to save themselves from a threat they didn't understand. She turned to... Holy, what is that? From a threat they didn't understand. She turned to Hardy, who was standing at his station like a chrome... Okay, cool. Standing at his station like a chrome statue. "What are you going to do, Hardy? Just stand there?" Grimes looked between them, his jaw working like he was chewing through the problem. "Hardy, track down Chief LaSalle. Work together, come up with a way... Chief LaSalle, work together, come up with a way to get our people out of there without infecting the rest of the ship." But Hardy was already moving, his chrome frame making its way through the bridge crew. "Already on it," he called back. "LaSalle's the best engineer on this ship. If anyone can crack those sealed... hatches, it's him." After Hardy left, the bridge smelled... After Hardy left, the bridge... After Hardy left, the bridge felt somehow smaller somehow. It's him. After Hardy left, the bridge felt smaller somehow, like the walls were pressing in with the weight of their collective failure. The remaining crew moved around their stations with the kind of nervous energy that came from having too much to do and no clear idea how to do it. "Sir,"
crew member Marbo.
No clear idea how to
Do it. Sir, crew member Margot Kemp said from a little faster.
No clear idea how to
Do it. Sir, crew member Margot Kemp said from the navigation station, her voice carrying the careful tone of someone delivering bad news. In the event of an emergency such as this... Let's hear. Sir, crew member Margot Kemp said from the navigation station. I think it's fine. Margot Kemp is very much like Bosun Polk, was that her name? So this book series, this is book 15 that we're narrating now. I've been narrating it since book 9. For book 9, I was reading it not cold, cold as far as like book 9 was the beginning of the universe for me, you know. I didn't have any context for characters and things like that. That wasn't present in book 9 or the very, very, very few scattered notes that I got from the author. But since then, I've gone back and I've listened to all of the audiobooks from the narrators who came from before me. So I've listened to all 8 of the books prior. And in some cases, there are some choices that I cringe that I didn't continue that choice. Some choices that I'm happy with the changes that I've brought to the table. But all this to say is that I'm like really grateful to have like the depth of story to draw on to inform the things that I'm narrating. For example, a character is going to show up later in this book who hasn't been mentioned at all since like book 6 or 7. And he has a strong Texas accent. And in this book, his accent is not mentioned at all whatsoever. And it's only because I listened to the audiobooks that I know, hey, when General Resnick shows up, he's got a Texas accent. Like, if I had not listened to the audiobooks, I would have no idea. And it would be just another little difference, a little change that might annoy some longtime listeners of the series. Probably the single largest like accent change that has happened is the character Sonia Winters. The first narrator decided to make her have a sort of a northern-ish English accent. Nowhere in the text does it indicate anywhere in 15 books that Sonia has any accent whatsoever. There is an indication that she has the accent of the Pylor pirates, amongst whom she was raised. But it does seem that over time, the indication is that any evidence of that has lessened as she's tried to fit in with her new family and crew. But the first narrator gave her sort of maybe a Mancunian, maybe a little bit of a Yorkshire. She had a fun accent that was sort of more North England. The second narrator gave her a very like Cockney, like lower class London accent. And that was one case where it was basically book 9 deadline was super, super tight. The issue with that second narrator continuing the series had sort of hit the rights holders a little bit by surprise, and they were a little bit behind the 8 ball as far as getting some kind of audiobook product out on schedule, any kind of schedule that would like not start to really diminish the sales performance of the audiobook. Perhaps in hindsight, giving me a little bit more time, maybe that would have allowed me to make some more, some better informed decisions. But deadline was a super, super strong concern, and so all parties involved did the best that we could. And I still think that at the end of the day, I'm happy that Sonia has the accent that she has now. I think it fits the character more. I think that it's a good place to be. And again, I don't disparage the choices made by the narrators who came before me. They were really, really good narrators. I'm very humble to be chosen time and time again now to follow in their footsteps. But, acting is all about choices, and we are actors as narrators. And, yeah, all that's to say, there are also like interesting parallels you'll pick up. And the reason I went on this sort of long tangent is because there's a character here that's speaking, Margot Kemp, who is sort of a spiritual descendant of a character in the early books whose name was Bosun Polk. And she was much more matronly, and she was sort of like a protocol officer, like, those aren't the rules. Like, that was sort of her role on the bridge, was to sort of be a killjoy foil to Captain Quintos's sort of gallivanting, devil-may-care sort of attitude. And it seems that Margot Kemp she's getting a little bit of those kinds of story roles here, and it's kind of fun to see that. Let's see here. Where are we?
Tone of someone delivering bad news. In the event of an emergency.
Okay.
Tone of someone delivering
Bad news. In the event of an emergency such as this, regulations state that the battle group's commanding officer must change. Emergency such as this, regulations state that the battle group's commanding officer must take charge. Emergency such as this, regulations state that the battle group's commanding officer must take charge of overall operations. Sonia felt her heart sink another notch. That would be my uncle, Captain Quintos. Grimes nodded, his expression grim. Nella, who is second in line for battle group command? Nella's response was immediate and completely unhelpful. That would be Captain Gail Pristy of the U.S. Space Navy vessel. Gotta make another mark here for formatting. Underline, okay. Was immediate and completely unhelpful. That would be Captain Gail Pristy of the U.S. Space Navy vessel USS Defiant. The name hit her like a sucker punch to the jaw. Everyone knew about the recent history between Captain Quintos and Captain Pristy, the complicated relationship that had started professional, turned personal, and was now something that defied easy categorization. And now Gail was about to take command of the entire battle group, while her uncle Galvin was trapped in an artificial hell, fighting for his life with weapons that belonged in a museum. Sonia slumped back in her chair and stared at the feeds from the R&R decks, where the situation was deteriorating faster than their ability to respond to it. In the space of an hour, they'd gone from a simple crew morale exercise to a ship-wide biological emergency with their captain trapped and their transportation systems offline. Corporate team building through simulated genocide had become actual crisis management through bureaucratic incompetence. And somewhere in the maze of maintenance corridors, Hardy and Chief LaSalle were trying to figure out how to save a handful of crew members without killing 5,000. She had a feeling this was going to get a lot worse before it got better. Boom. All right. Mark down our time here. 28:06. We beat time. That's great news. And that is a chapter done. Chapter 7 done. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. This book has 34 chapters. And is there an epilogue? There's no epilogue. So 34 chapters. There we go. I think that is probably a good place to call it. How long have we been live here? We've been live. OBS, please. Coming up on 3 hours. I think that's a good time to cut it. That's good. That's good. That's good. I think we're gonna stream more frequently. I say that every time. Every 2 months when I stream, I say that. I think we're going to stream more frequently. I think on a different channel, my gaming channel, I might start streaming some gaming. I think that the streaming is a good muscle for me to keep flexing, especially during the gig off season. I play music, And during the tourist season up here in Maine, I play on cruise ships and I play a ton of gigs. But during the off season, I think it's good to keep that sort of presentation muscle from atrophying. And so I think that's something that we're going to do. And in fact, maybe later tonight, I might do a little bit of a game stream. We'll have to figure out what game we want to stream. I'm not sure. But I want to say for any future VOD frogs who want to come in and watch this stuff, see how audiobooks are made, see how voiceover auditions work, welcome. My name is Jimmy Moreland. The website is veteranaudio.com if you want to hire me to talk for you. Until then, we will see you next time, and I hope that you have a lovely, lovely day. Bye. Bye.